Hi Freddie, how y'all doing? Okay, this is a vlog going to go out to Mike Gibs in USAF. So, to his last video to me. And I've actually made notes. So I'll try to stick exactly to what you said and be able to give my impressions as well as ideas and ask you more about some of the things that you think regarding some of the things you said, because it was very interesting, and I was really grateful how much thought you put into it, and well, I've got more positive things to say. Alright, so we'll get started. Straight to the meat and potatoes, right? Like you said. Alright, so, oh, there's two sides. I had no clue. Alright, yeah, I was really grateful that you didn't mind that I had made all of those videos. That was truly beyond what I had expected to do at all. And I think much towards the beginning, probably up until about the fifth one, I was still trying to address, or at least slightly touch on, the more clear points that you had asked me about. I think I did deteriorate after that, possibly, though I'd have to look. And so that's another reason why I've written these notes. As far as the format, like you said, the tennis game, I generally will make my videos in less than 15-minute shots. Part of that has to do with time constraints for myself, because I got kids, and I don't tape them on YouTube directly. I tape them first, and then I transfer them by uploading. I still don't know the maximum I'm allowed to. I probably have been increased now to at least 20 minutes, but I've never tested it. So I also think I'd like to try to keep to a shorter time period and try to address more distinctly so that I don't go off into the ethers. And, you know, well, I don't want to waste anybody's time. So, when you mentioned regarding certain things I might have said that were dates that weren't familiar to you, or things about the Baha'i faith that you weren't accustomed to, I don't mean to be confusing. So feel free to, like, if I say something and it just seems odd to you, pause it and mark down the time, and I'll go back and look at it, and then I'll be able to tell you. And I can't apologize for that, actually, because I know that sometimes I don't always speak all in English. So other words will pop in here and there, and sometimes I don't even notice I'm saying them. So, help me stay organized. Yeah, I am more of a creative and artistic person. I come from a long line of musical people on both sides of my family, as well as artistic too. My father was left-handed, as was his father. So even the fact that it's Father's Day, that's nice to say. But I am right-handed. But yeah, I'm very much moved by aesthetic beauty, as you said. And so there'll be more to say about that, I'm sure. Yeah, I definitely have a couple things to say about that. So, in one of your statements, you had, I wasn't sure if it seemed like you were trying to draw a correlation between how you might suppose personal relationships in my life I experience, as far as maybe, I think you were sort of saying it seemed maybe would be fleeting if compared to what it seemed to you, I guess, was that my relationship with religions and possibly even God were, these very quicksilver kind of mercurial experiences. One day I'm this, one day I'm that. There was a period of time, maybe from age 20 through probably around 22, that I very much was, as Baha'is describe, a seeker, And I would go to anybody's church meeting hall, any religious anything. I'm just trying to see, what it was, experience what it was, because, you can read about it in a book, but until you go meet people who claim that they live the way that, the aspirations that they desire towards whomever they revere, um, and see just the structure of how their lives interfaced with their claimed beliefs. So that was a time where I was, but I never committed to anyone's church. Never called myself anything except, like you had mentioned, the word spiritual, for lack of a better description. Um, the closest that I got was taking refuge in the Buddha, which I did do. And it's, if you want to consider it a mite similar to when you're in a church in certain, like especially evangelical and different types of Protestant churches, Pentecostal, they'll do what's called an altar call where they'll, say if anybody wants to come forward and become Christian at that moment, then if they would. I would never do any of those. But when I had been studying with a particular man, his name was Ole Nidal, and I can even put a link so people know who he is. I took refuge in the Buddha with him because I had been studying with him for a period of time. That also was not, I went to one occasion and then just, um, fleetingly made some kind of a commitment. And then I did study Tibetan Buddhism for a good period of time after. And then there was a nasty break. So I was then sort of floating again, just trying to figure out what happened to me and what I wanted to do. Then I had a dream, um, and even more hokey, I had a past life regression. Okay. Um, where one of the things, the most important thing of it was that I saw had to do with seeing people all over the world in their national costume. That's very much a Baha'i picture. So when the Baha'i came across my, line of vision there, that, rang true. Okay. I was a Baha'i from 21 March 1993 until unofficially November 27, 2011, officially off rolls by the 23rd December 2011. So that's a great big long span of time, and I hope that that would show you my commitment to the faith itself and to trying to study and really understand it, meditate and pray, really trying to work that out. And I gave it a go, and yet there are some Baha'is who lament to me, you didn't wait long enough, That's one lady, she's like, I waited 33 years. I'm like, well, God bless you, there was too much tension on me. I couldn't do it any longer for various reasons. In one of the other vlogs that you had left, there's a commenter. His name is I think it's a man. It could be a lady, but I don't know. Sender of messengers, and it sent you a couple of messages in the comments that said some of the things that I had said in one vlog or another that were references to something quite specific. So as far as me being vague in certain things, I'm truly cautious. You mentioned also, being uncomfortable in front of a camera. Um, I'm a very verbal person. You said I'm a talker, yeah. And if you were to look at me, am I, extrovert, introvert? It's easy to think that I am an introvert, but I'm neither. I'm an ambivert. So I'm quiet when I need to be and loud when I need to be. But just from where I come in culture and out of personal respect and comfort and boundaries and things like that, I find it the most difficult discussion to speak about personal faith. It is the worst. Okay, I could pick nothing more unpleasant. I would rather talk about any more intimate subject, any of them. I would find that easier than discussing this, which is why there's a cap on this. I set the clock when I put this channel up to say I will do this for this period of time, and then I don't believe that I will seek to do it ever again. To do it as a way to log and catalog, what happens over this time period, and because yeah, I did really want to offer something to help people. I refer to myself as the lonely only girl. And what I mean by that is, particularly among Orthodox. First of all, except for David P. Withen's wife and Lina, the Coptic, there are no lady Orthodox, except for Vel Glory. But she's not even currently making videos. Lina made 2 wonderful ones about holy fire and something else about Jesus. I don't remember what it was. And then David P. Withen's wife made an incredible video, and she never did it ever again. So I really am, and I'm not even an Orthodox. I just hang out with these people on the internet, of course. So and all of those ladies, they all have Christian background. I don't. I come from Jewish background, and then I became Baha'i. So I'm like the triple lonely only. Okay, there's nobody, there's no one. All right. So people kept saying to me, if you want me to list, round up the usual suspects. No, you have something unique to say, and it would benefit others. And I had to trust them, which is why I had to make like 2 or 3 of those I told you so's, and you are the one beneath that tree. Yeah, those were like I had lost the bet, So why do I cry? First of all, it looks a lot worse on the outside than it feels on the inside. I'm not crying for the mental pain of anguish I think you might have intimated that I was sort of expressing as far as you perceived. It's the feeling of kismet. That thrill when you finally have a sweet reunion. Like if you've been away for a very long time and you get to see someone, that rush of overwhelm, that's actually the sense of it that's going on the inside. And it's embarrassing for me that I cry, actually. Yeah. So I don't like the fact that I do it. I almost took down that video like so many times. I was actually asked to take that video down publicly and privately more than many times. 2 weeks or 3, I guess, before this video of yours, first of all, came to me, I was hacked on both accounts. I've had a lot of many problems internet-wise for having that video up. And that's why I said, hey, this was why I did it, was for you, because a real human being actually made a video back and said, no, you're not doing this for some kind of thrill that's cheap, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So the other half of, do I have fleeting relationships? No, I've been married since 21 August or 20 August. I can never remember. I'm sorry. My husband is bothers the crazy out of him. 93. So it's like, yeah. And we were together before that, engaged for like 2.5 years. So no, I'm not too quick with relationships. Friendships, I usually have friends for life in really long periods of time, even though I have moved, and totally, yeah, all my adult life as well as my childhood. Okay, so one of the things you said had to do with that your impression of religion itself was to bring comfort, or at least part of it is, that the sense that someone is there looking out for you, understanding you, and that kind of thing. I actually think that's the smallest part of relationship with God of any kind, that the rest of it really is an expression of the love that you're experiencing from Creator, that you would express that to every single person because of what uses it. You know, if you believe in some kind of loving Creator and then, you know, you judge another person or refuse someone a kindness to be selfish or things like that, most of what I think actually goes on in faith is rather deeply uncomfortable because growth is messy and it's painful. I mean, you know, even when plants grow, they have to push hard to get up through the soil. They have to, you know, it takes a lot of oomph and strength. I don't think it's easy to be a member of a faith. And specifically, certain ones I think are a little more challenging, um, particularly. But to be clear, I don't believe that any person needs to be a member of any faith at all um, to 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 be a good person or anything like that. I think all of that's completely available to any person in or out of any faith or church or anything like that. I don't go to church to learn that kind of stuff. I absolutely experience it in meditation and prayer, but more so anytime I'm forgiving someone or I'm kind to someone or I'm wanting to share something not for any gain in return. That's where I feel that. And then getting to go to church, that's a complete bonus. So I'm at 16, 17 minutes. Let's see if this uploads. I hope it will. And thank you so much for listening to all of this because you ask really great questions. I hope to be clear and concise. So peace until the next